Up, yeah, the symptoms of ankylosing spondylitis, and it's totally, there's a meth lab and assholes next door. So, and that's definitely what they're trying to fake here. Anyway, that book that Aurora let Lisa steal, it contained recipes for making people believe that they were ill. And basically this ankylosing spondylitis thing had to be invented because doctors are no longer allowed to treat meth labs as MS. They find this stuff out and then they think it's not really good for society if people are running the streets, dragging people out of their homes, shooting them because they think they're making them sick. So, and that's kind of one of the things with these recipes of this type. They're a little dicey. If you look at things in the wider scheme of all the shit everyone on the planet tries to pull, it doesn't stack up against a lot of stuff. But a lot of methods are safer in the hands of people with traditions and limitations on them, people who self-regulate. If these same recipes get into the hands of people who do not self-regulate, this has happened, and they are willing to go extremely far with this, like all the way to Iran and stuff. Anyway, because a lot of people see these things as ways to control their population. Here in the U.S., it would not be the government that would be using this, but there are many groups within the U.S. that can use something like this without too much interference from the government. When these groups start interacting with groups overseas, however, the U.S. is not quite as limited about interacting overseas. When it comes to interfering here in this country, it has to be group on group. It doesn't come from the government down. Sometimes the government might give hints to different groups and play favorites or cash in tokens and things like that, but they can't get directly involved like they can with the overseas connections and some of these things. It just depends on the nature of the government that you're dealing with, and how far and their history of taking things like this way too far. So, yeah, I mean, you can think of the applications of this in the Gypsy context, in the Roma context. How you would, as retaliation for something that somebody did, because if people do like crazy stuff when they get a hold of people that they don't really see as human beings. And this is something typical of all of our species. So, I can relate. And but a lot of times it's used just to swindle people, camp out next to a group of people. But like I said, I've been interacting with these people. They are limited. They cut people loose when they need to. You might run across 1,000 people and never realize that you'll cut somebody loose until you do. So that's kind of how I test people. If they can see that I'm different, and that doesn't mean that they always cut me out. It definitely got dragged into some shit. But, it's not exactly like I wasn't already in it. And, it's all part of relationship building and part of being a kid and growing up. So, yeah, that's still, anyway, there's things that need to blow up tonight, so I need to be going.